Married to Trevor Engelson, a film producer, but they split in August 2013.
I don't think she's capable of empathy, remorse, or shame. I don't think she could feel enough to apologize.
Wedding looked like as far from a royal event as you can imagine. Beer and barbecue on a beach in Jamaica. Meghan's first wedding to a TV producer named Trevor Engelson.
I choose people whose lives are shrouded in mystery and they've climbed the greasy pole. They want to be famous, they want to be influential, they want to be powerful. They want to hide their secrets, and I just love digging away to find out what they don't want us to know.
In my opinion, she would still be a waitress if it wasn't.
They say the past never really stays buried, especially when someone from it holds the keys to your future. For Meghan Markle, that shadow doesn't come from the King, Kate, or even Prince Harry himself. The person who could truly unravel her carefully built narrative is Trevor Engelson, the Hollywood producer she once called her husband long before royal titles were even a possibility. His history with Meghan isn't just about love lost, it's about secrets stored away, the kind that can resurface at the worst possible time.
I know someone who knows the ex-husband who said she had a vision board with Prince Harry on it.
Before they met?
Yes, and she wants to
That's
pretend.
impressive. You got to admit that is impressive.
She nailed
Their marriage ended years ago, but Trevor didn't leave the stage empty-handed. He left with stories, private stories, the kind that could dismantle Meghan's polished Duchess persona in a single explosive headline. And according to whispers that still circle Hollywood and Toronto alike, one of those stories centers on a late night in 2016. It was a night that, if exposed, could have ended Meghan's royal aspirations long before they ever left the runway. A night that lingers in silence but carries enough weight to shake reputations.
She flirts openly with other men. I remember when she was at that tennis match, it looked like she was flirting with Serena Williams' husband, like with her skirt and just how she just looks at men. She's scary, it doesn't matter.
Yet here's the striking part: no headlines, no paparazzi shots, no police files. Just silence. And in both Hollywood and royal circles, silence rarely comes without effort. More often than not, it signals intervention, the kind of deliberate quiet that suggests doors were closed and lips were sealed long before anyone outside the circle even noticed.
And I thought, what is she not contextually aware? She's trying to hide something. This is really sloppy.
From the outside, Meghan's life in that moment looked like a made-for-TV romance. Prince Harry was flying in to see her, their relationship was still under wraps, and Toronto became the perfect backdrop for a secret love story. But insiders whisper a different version of that night. Not candlelit dinners, not long walks through quiet streets. Instead, they say there was a run, and not the jogging kind. In Toronto nightlife, a run meant arranging more than just drinks. It hinted at indulgence, substances, and risky behavior, exactly the kind of territory Harry's security detail prays he never comes near.
It's an addiction, like many others, and, there are very few things in this world where you call the person who's engaging with it a user.
And then came a twist that sent shockwaves. The name whispered wasn't just Meghan's or Harry's, it was Princess Eugenie's. Was she actually involved? Was she even aware? No one can say for sure, but the very mention of her name linked to that night was enough to cause alarm. All it would have taken was one careless headline, a blurred photo, or a single loose word, and it wouldn't just have jeopardized Meghan, it could have dragged the entire royal family into embarrassment overnight.
To tell the truth, I spoke to very few friends of Meghan because she put a fatwa on anyone talking to me who she could, so I sent off dozens and dozens of emails to her friends, and most of them didn't even reply.
Something went wrong that evening, an incident so close to exposure that, had it surfaced, Harry and Meghan's fairy tale narrative might have ended before it ever truly began. But scandal never broke. Instead, there was silence. And silence on that scale isn't random. It doesn't just appear out of nowhere. It requires connections, leverage, and influence, what some might call palace-level strings being pulled in the background.
I'll tell you why. What she told the royal family, what she told Harry, wouldn't have jived, wouldn't have been consistent with the truth.
To understand how Meghan navigated nights like that without consequence, you have to look at the world she built in Toronto. Sure, her acting job on Suits kept her busy, but another identity thrived at Soho House. Unlike the traditional clubs tied to British royalty, Soho was different, exclusive, velvet-roped, and buzzing with a very different kind of energy. Behind its polished doors, people say the menu wasn't limited to champagne and cocktails. Deliveries came quietly, and the tables offered more than dinner. And Meghan? She wasn't just another face in the crowd, she was a gatekeeper.
I'm getting all worked up. I'm a founder. I'm over it. She's not important. She married for money. It's very clear she bagged the elephant. She was thrilled she became a quote.
People didn't remember her as the quiet actress sipping a single glass of rosé. They remembered her as the one who could make the night come alive. If someone needed something, contacts, access, or more, Meghan had the answers. Her appeal wasn't just in charm or appearance. It was in her ability to connect, to provide, to open doors others couldn't. And that access made her not only popular but powerful.
In the end, nothing beats the truth, the real fact. So when Meghan came along into the scene, I just thought, this is fascinating. How is this going to play?
And Toronto wasn't the beginning. Go back to Jamaica in 2011, at Meghan and Trevor's wedding. Guests don't recall the vows or the beachside romance as much as they recall one detail. Meghan personally rolling, by some accounts, over 100 joints for her friends and family. Not one or two as a playful gesture, but a full operation. At the time, people laughed it off as carefree fun. But when placed alongside the Toronto rumors, the picture shifts. It doesn't read like a quirky one-time story, it reads like a consistent pattern.
It's living a life that she's winning, she's doing all these great things, but the reality is not that. The reality is she's a joke. It's embarrassing at this point. It's like, oh my gosh, Meghan, you did that. You're gonna keep doing this? I mean, wow.
Trevor witnessed all of it firsthand. Meghan wasn't just someone who enjoyed parties, she orchestrated them. She shaped the environment, supplied what was needed, and managed the atmosphere with precision. That ability to control the tone of a room, to curate who got what and when, became less about fun and more about influence. It was a skill she carried forward, one that would later become her sharpest and most strategic weapon.
Royal family, you should be so thankful this woman wanted to leave, because she's not going to bring any good to the branding of royal. She's going to downgrade it to a level of ghetto, and that's what it is. This is just bad.
That's the complexity of Meghan Markle. She lived layered lives, each tailored for a different audience. To Hollywood peers, she was the struggling actress hustling from casting call to casting call. To her family, she was the polished daughter who knew how to present herself. To Harry, she offered refuge from the strict codes of the palace. And within Toronto's elite circles, she was remembered as the fearless host, the one who knew how to turn an ordinary evening into something unforgettable. Meghan was many things to many people, and in that lay her greatest strength.
Angela made it very clear that she was looking for a celebrity. I mean, the types of celebrities she was going after were like Max George from The Wanted and Matt Cardle from The X Factor. But it's so fascinating that she had her sights set on Harry.
What made Meghan remarkable wasn't just how she lived those different lives, it was how flawlessly she kept them apart. Every circle believed they had access to the real Meghan. Yet in truth, each only saw one version, one carefully selected mask. That's why whispers about Toronto never faded into the background. To insiders, it wasn't an isolated rumor, it aligned perfectly with the Meghan they'd always known existed behind the curtain.
Who she could use and who could serve her purposes. She did want it because she then was promoted from an unknown actress into a global star.
By the time Prince Harry entered the picture, Meghan didn't need to pretend to be innocent. Harry already carried his own tabloid history, Vegas photos, wild nights, a reputation for recklessness. He wasn't searching for someone to rein him in. He needed a partner who could keep pace, someone capable of navigating chaos without letting it spiral into scandal. Meghan offered just that, indulgence tightly wrapped in discretion.
You can see he's very vulnerable, and you can see that he's yearning to get married. He told me that he really wanted children, but the time hasn't come yet, but he really wants to be a father.
For Harry, she provided something more powerful than affection, freedom. Freedom to slip into the shadows without leaving a paper trail. Freedom to explore the messier sides of life without tabloid cameras catching every misstep. Meghan didn't just tolerate his untamed side, she organized it, managed it, and shielded it. For a man raised under constant surveillance, That control wasn't just comforting, it was addictive.
What I discovered was, of course, that she was hunting for a man in England from 2013, and she wanted wealth and she wanted fame, and she targeted. There's no doubt she targeted her.
But then comes a turning point. Meghan's reinventions weren't only emotional or social, they were physical. Line up early photos against later ones, and the differences are impossible to miss. The official explanation: cosmetic refinements, a touch of Hollywood polish. Yet whispers suggest something deeper. Rumors say years of indulgence may have left lasting marks, particularly on her nose, with surgery serving not just beauty but repair.
She wasn't interested in Harry actually meeting her father. They didn't even meet him before they got engaged. I think Meghan definitely did not want her father there to mess up the narrative that she had told Harry about her early life. I think that we could definitely infer her mom was completely willing to go along with the narrative. And
each procedure became more than enhancement, it became erasure. With every operation, traces of the old Meghan disappeared. The public saw glamour, but side-by-side comparisons tell a more layered story. This wasn't someone chasing a flawless image, this was someone rewriting her past, disguising evidence, and leaving behind only the version she wanted the world to remember.
So all of the pictures, my point is, out there were inconsistent.
And it didn't stop with her appearance. Meghan erased people, too. Party friends from her early days faded away. Family ties were severed. Trevor Engelson, the man who once knew her best, was edited out of her story like a line struck from a script. Her pattern became unmistakable: build a world, erase what no longer fits, then build again. By the time the rumors caught up, she could easily deny them. And in a sense, she wasn't lying, because the Meghan being accused no longer existed.
Meghan Markle did plan this, but what is new in terms of Meghan Kelly's revelation is that it is Trevor Engelson, via an intermediary, who has revealed this story.
Still, cracks eventually break through. Meghan once swore she'd never researched Harry before meeting him, yet described him with uncanny precision, as if she'd memorized his biography. She claimed to be isolated in the UK, yet records traced her frequent trips across Europe. Even her official royal biography, once loaded with glowing achievements, was quietly reduced until only a single line remained: Meghan Markle, actress from Suits. That wasn't an oversight. It was a deliberate reset. A downgrade orchestrated from within.
But this woman is nothing but a publicity whore. It's a term of art. We broke the news that she had Prince Harry on her vision board when she was younger. That was her goal, #goal, to marry Prince Harry. So it was all about...
So the question lingers, who is Meghan Markle, really? The ambitious Hollywood striver, the royal romantic, or the strategist insiders described from Toronto and beyond? Was she the provider, the eraser, the woman who built her empire one mask at a time? The evidence paints a picture of someone who never left her destiny to chance. She engineered it, editing herself, rewriting her story, and burying the versions that didn't serve her purpose. And that's why she continues to grip the public imagination. For every charity appearance, there's a shadow from Toronto. For every palace portrait, a missing friend, a silenced rumor, a surgery photo tucked away. The tales of Trevor, the wedding joints, the risky Toronto night, they all feed the same conclusion. Meghan didn't just craft her future, she edited it like a script. And here's the most unsettling part: what we've seen may only be the beginning. Because Meghan Markle has always been what she remains today, a woman smiling for the cameras while the truest version of her story stays hidden in the shadows.